happened in the 60s, the days of hippies and acid. Leslie was a teenager, a high school princess turned runaway, then Zen nun. She believed she found God on earth in the man who involved his so-called family in ritual slaughter. Leslie was reprieved from the gas chamber during the period when the Supreme Court suspended the death penalty. Now, serving a life sentence, she studies philosophy in an Antioch College class on a prison ground.
All right, under certain circumstances, any good person could do bad. Does that mean that any good person can also do evil?
True evil is a quality that you have to cultivate.
That's the point that I wanted to make, that I think that a lot of times in the discussion of evil, it gets interpreted that there's something missing because they choose not to be good. And I think like the point that she made, that being a truly evil person takes an awful lot of work.
Which side of the street is easier? Going from good to bad or from bad to good?
It's easier to go from bad to good, I believe.
It's easier to go from bad to good?
No.
Why?
Probably because I'd like to think so. I believe that Charlie held the answer to truth, and that if I turned my back on him, I was doing something that was morally wrong. It meant more to me to have him pat me on the head and tell me I was a good girl, or gee, Leslie, you did that really well, than to go to bed with him. Because when Charlie would sleep with someone, everyone else would make a real big deal out of it. They'd kind of like, oh, wow. And it was presented in a way that he was like the world's best, most terrific lover. And my personal experiences with him were not like that.
Do you ever question?
Well, one time I decided I was going to leave. And he took me to the end of this hill, and he said, it was cliff's edge, and he said, if you're going to leave, then jump, because that's what you're doing by leaving me. You'll be left behind. You will not make it. You will be part of the city when it blows up, So why don't you just jump off right now? So.
You brought that home?
Yeah. I think there was a point when we'd sit around in a circle and he'd say, bow like sheep, and we'd all do it, and he'd laugh, And I think that once he understood that he actually had power over these number of kids, that if someone else could go that far, I wanted it to be known that I could too, that I believed as much as they did, and that if something came to a war state, that I would be a good soldier too.
Charlie was conducting the courtroom. He was telling us what to say, when to stand up, when to carve the X, when to shave our heads. Every day it was like a new agenda.
How come?
I remember when Charlie locked eyes with my father, I was watching both because it was a really intense moment for me. And there was great satisfaction on Charlie's face. There was just one of like, look what I've done to your baby.
This was the fourth time she went before the Board of Prison Terms asking to have a date set for her parole. This was the fourth time that was denied. As a matter of fact, they took into consideration a special law that just went into effect. They denied that request for a period of 3 years. So it will be 3 years before she can come back and make that request again. Stephen Cave, the Deputy District Attorney for Los Angeles County who prosecuted the case, was there, and I think he can give us some evaluation of the reasons for the turnout.
Well, the board, of course, concentrated on the facts of the LaBianca murder and Leslie Van Houten's participation in that murder. Her participation was very brutal, holding down Rosemary LaBianca so she could be stabbed by Patricia Krenwinkel and then Tex Watson.
Hard for me sometimes to accept the fact that people choose to believe that I absolutely cannot change, that I was something at 19, and what I am at 33 is irrelevant because the one that they loved ended when I was 19. And though I understand it, it's very difficult because life goes on. And, you know, I go on.
Do you feel responsible for her death?
I know it's because I was near her and I stabbed her even when she was dead that I feel responsible because I was there with her. And I don't for Mr. LaBianca.
You didn't touch her. But Mrs. LaBianca and you had a relationship.
Exchange.
There was a relationship.
You're right. And
You held her down.
yeah,
She screamed for help.
and I did help her.
You participated in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. And sometimes it's difficult because when you say responsibility, it's as though maybe there was something I could have done to have changed it.
There is. There always is. It was a choice. That was a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, because somebody says do it.
Oh yeah, I made the choice to do what someone else says. Yeah, sure. I think that was my first very major mistake was surrendering my individuality to a collective.
And then having somebody hand you a knife.
Yeah, you did something in doing it, yeah.
If you could say something to the LaBianca kids now, what would you say to them?
I would just tell them that I'm very sorry. And that doesn't do much. There have been times I've been there have been times I've been with my mother and been very close and loving with her.